Hello guys, welcome back. And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a website using HTML and CSS. So let's go ahead and get started. And as you can see over here, I already have a demo of what our website will look like at the end of this video. We're going to have our navbar right up here, and we're going to in the navbar we're going to have the links, the logo, and this social links right here: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Right here in the hero section, we're going to have our header text that says create visuals that inspire, captivate, and resonate. We're going to also have the description, a button that says hire me, and another link that says previous works. Down here, we're going to have the start container that shows our progress: 650 plus projects, 99% happy clients, 250 plus project collaborations, and at the right side we're going to have the hero image right here. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be making use of remix icon. Head over to your browser and search for cdnjs on your browser. You're going to find this link right here. Click on it, and when you get to the website, search for remix icon in the search bar. Click on it right here. This is it, remix icon. And when it loads up, we're going to find, we're going to find this icon right here. Click on it to copy the CDN and paste it in your CSS just up here. Let's see. It's not supposed to be in the CSS, it's supposed to be right here in HTML. Since it's a link, that is more correct. So let's go ahead and grab our font from Google Fonts. Search for Google Fonts on your browser, and when you find it, click on this link. We're going to be making use of Poppins, so search for Poppins on the search bar right here. We're going to search for Poppins. This is it. Click on it, and we're going to click on Get Fonts, and we're going to click on Get Embed Code. Head over to the imports, click on this radio button, and we're going to copy this CDN right here. We're going to paste it in our CSS just up here. Later I'm going to show you guys how to use the fonts, but for now let's go ahead and create our link for CSS. Create a link, and the href is going to be style.css. and we're also going to create the link for our javascript. It's going to be a script tag, and we're going to have a source right in here. The source is going to be app.js, and that should do it. Change this to .js. As you can see over here, I already have the image I'm going to use, and you can use any image at all. You can use whatever image you have. So the first thing we're going to do right here is create our div. So let's create a div, and the class here is going to be navbar container. Then right inside our navbar container, we're going to have a nav tag. It's going to have a class, and this one is going to be navbar. It's going to have two classes actually. The first one is going to be navbar, and the second class is going to be container. Those are two classes. The container is to make it responsive. So right in here, we're going to have an anchor tag for the logo, and inside our anchor tag, we're going to use a h1 for the text since we don't have any image. So let's give this a class. The class is going to be logo text, and right in here I'm going to type in my channel's name as the logo. That's going to be devcore. Then next we're going to create our links. Let's see what we have up there. We'll have the links and the icons for the social media accounts, the social media links. So what I'm going to do is create an another list right here. That's an another list tag, and we're going to give it a class. The class right here is going to be links container, and right in here we're going to have our links. What we're going to have here is an li tag. Li tag is going to have an anchor tag right inside it, and inside anchor tag we're going to have our links. The first one is going to be projects. So let's repeat this. Let's see how many of them we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's repeat this same process 5 more times. No, we're going to repeat it 4 more times. Just 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second link is going to be about. The third one is services, portfolio, and we have contact. This is going to be services. Next, we're going to have portfolio. And lastly, we are going to have contact. And after that, we're going to go ahead and create the social media links. So what we're going to do is get right outside this UL tag and create a span tag. So inside this span tag, we're going to have an anchor tag. This anchor tag is going to hold our icons. But firstly, let's give a class to this span tag. The class here is going to be nav btn container. Then right in here, we're going to have our icon, create an I tag, and in here we're going to, let's say, ri dash facebook dash feel. Now let's load up our website and see if it works. You can right click and click on open with live server if you have a live server, and let's see what that does. As you can see right here, that's our icon, and this is the links and the logo we've already created. Let's go ahead and repeat this process. Let's see 3 more times. So just copy this and paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. This one is going to be LinkedIn, and the third one is going to be YouTube, and the last one is going to be Instagram. And let's see what that looks like. It works. So we're done with the navbar. Now we can go ahead and create our hero section right here. So all you have to do is get outside this div, the navbar container div, and create a section tag. So it's going to have a class, actually 2 classes just like before. The first one is going to be hero, and the second one is going to be container to make it responsive. So right inside the section tag, we're going to add a header tag, and this header tag is going to have a span tag right inside it, and we're going to have our header text, which is going to be a h1. So this h1 is going to have a class. The class is going to be hero head text, and right inside it we're going to have our text. I'm just going to copy and paste this to save time. So I'm going to copy and paste. If you notice, we have some colored text right here. The visual is colored and defco is colored. So we can achieve that by putting them inside the span and give them very different classes. Very different styles. All we have to do is cut this out with Ctrl X, create a span and paste it in right here. So the class here is going to be colored text. This should be colored. There should be a U right there, and that should do it. So next we're going to create the description. It's going to be a p tag after the h1 tag. So create a p tag, and the class here is going to be hero description. Then I'm just going to copy and paste this. It says here, I'm Josh. With a decade of expertise, I'm excited to contribute to your amazing project. So I'm just going to paste this right in here. And next we're going to create, let's say we have the button that says hire me and the previous works. So all we have to do is get right outside this span and create another span. This time around, the class is going to be hero btn container. So for this one, we just need to create a button right in here. It's going to have a class, and the class is going to be hire btn. That's an abbreviation for button. So the text in here inside the button is going to be hire me. Then next we're going to create a link that says previous work right here. So to create the link, we need an anchor tag, and the class is going to be, let's call it portfolio link. This should be a lowercase, not an uppercase. So right in here we're going to have the text that says previous works, and we're also going to have an icon. If you notice, there's an arrow icon right inside there. So to create the arrow icon, what we have to do is create an I tag, and inside this I tag we're going to have our class. The class here is going to be ri arrow and right up line. Let's see if it works. Don't need this tab. We're going to close that tab, and this is our icon right here. It works. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's see what we have next. After that, we have the starts container. To create the starts container, we need to get right outside this span and create a div. And this div is going to have a class. The class is going to be starts container. And right in here, we're going to have 3 spans. The first one, let's see. The first one is going to have a h1 tag. Let's see what we have right here, 650 plus. So I'm just going to paste that in and also paste this in. So down here, we're going to have our p tag, which is a paragraph tag, and we're just going to repeat this process 2 more times. So just paste it 2 more times, and that should do it. Let's change things. In the second one, we're going to have 99%, and the text is going to be happy clients. Change this to this one. The second one, change it to clients, and the third one is going to be projects collaboration. Paste this right here, and this is going to be 250 plus. I'm just going to put that in, and that should do it. Let's fix this. Let's see what we have right here. As you can see, this is beginning to look nice, but now we need to create the image. The image we have right here. To create the image, all we have to do is get right outside the header tag. Outside it, we're going to create a div, and the div here is going to have a class. Let's give it a class right here. The class is going to be hero img container, and right inside it, we're going to have an image tag. The source here is going to be, let's call it, not the source, we need to give it a class first. The class is going to be hero img, and the source is going to be the name right here that says freelance image webp. So let's type in freelance image dot webp. So let's see what it looks like. Let's see if the image works. As you can see, the image is right there. Next, we're going to go ahead and add some styles to our code to make it look much more beautiful, just like what we have right here. It doesn't look quite nice yet, so let's head over to CSS. So right here in CSS, the first thing we're going to do is remove every margin and padding from our website. If you notice, there's a space right up there, and we don't need that. What we're going to do is type in an asterisk and open the curly braces. Right in here, we need a margin, and it's going to be 0. The padding here is also going to be 0, and that should fix it. So next, we're going to add our font family, which is the plugins we already imported right here. So to add the font family, all we have to do is type out our body right here. That is the body tag we have right here in HTML. So we're just calling it in CSS. So what we have to do right here is type in font family, and the font family here is going to be, we need a string, and inside it we're going to type in plugins, and we're going to set the background. Before we set the background, let's see what our font family looks like. As you can see, it works. This is what it looks like before, and this is what it looks like now. That works. So let's go ahead and set our background. We have a dark background right here, if you notice. So to set the background, all we have to do is type in hash 1c 1c 1c. That's a dark color, and that should make the background black. As you can see, it's beginning to look just like what you have right there. So if you're wondering what the purpose of this container we've been adding all this while is for, this is what the purpose is. Just create a class. I'm going to show you guys very quick. And in here, we're going to have a padding. We're going to have 20 px for top and bottom, and 130 px for left and right. That should bring everything to the center like this. That is what the purpose of the container is. So next, we're going to create a mark width right here. The mark width here is going to be 100 px, so also make it responsive. And let me show you guys what the mark width does. If you notice, our website spreads out to the full width of the screen whenever we minimize or maximize. But with max width, we're going to avoid that and give it just, let's see, the max width is 120 px, 120 px, and if we add margin auto, that should bring it to the center of the screen, and it shouldn't spread out anymore. As you can see, that is just what it does, and it's going to be responsive. So that is quite nice. Next, we're going to set every button in our website. We're going to add a cursor pointer to them. What that does is to change the arrow to a finger whenever we hover on any button. So next, let's go ahead and start the navbar container. We're going to type in navbar container, and for the navbar container we need the same background you have for the body. So just copy the background right here and paste it in. Then next, we're going to style the position, and the position here is going to be sticky. We have different positions. We have absolute, fixed, sticky, static, and the rest. And we're going to be using sticky today. I'm going to explain why we are going to be using sticky after we are done with these styles. So after that, we're going to set top to 0, and the index here is going to be 100. So what sticky does is to make sure, let me show you guys what sticky does is to make sure the number stays at the top of our website no matter where we scroll to, and the index makes sure it does no element overlaps our website, sorry, our navbar, and puts our navbar maybe below the image or below anything else. I hope you understand. So let's go ahead and continue. Next, we're going to be styling the navbar. Let's type in navbar, and for the navbar we're going to set position to relative. Position here is going to be not inherit, we need relative. And next we're going to need display. I need to show you guys what we are doing as we are doing them. So next, I will set display to flex, so that every element here side by side. As you can see, if you notice, our icon was below the links, but now display flex will help us set them side by side just like this. And next, what we're going to do is set align items to center. Align items here is going to be center. Set every item evenly to the center of our navbar. And next, we're going to set justify content to space between. So space between works just like a gap, but it's not exactly like a gap. Let me show you guys what space between does. So when we set space between, it spaces our elements right across the width of any container. Let's see, as you can see, it will space them out evenly to every side of the container. So next, what I'm going to do is style the logo text we have right here. So to style the logo text, we just need to type out the class dot logo text. And for the logo text, all we have to do right here is set font size. We set font size to 30 px, and let's see. So what we have to do next is change the color right here. So to change the color, all we have to do is use background clip WebKit. So let's set WebKit background clip. This helps us set whatever the background we want to change, maybe the background of our card or maybe the background of a text. So now we're going to set it to text, and to change the background of the text, we just need a background right here. I need background, not background color. I'm going to color this background, and we're going to use linear gradient. Then right inside here, we're going to set it to right, and the color here is going to be, let's set it to hash 8224D3. That's our purple color. And next we're going to add the aqua color. So the aqua color is going to be hash 00E5FF, and that should do it. Let's see what it looks like. It seems we have a little problem. Let's see what it is. Okay, we still need to set the background of, we need to set the text fill of our text to transparent. So all we have to do is set WebKit text fill color, and we're going to set it to transparent, and that should work. As you can see, that is just what we want. The next, we're going to, let's see, in the navbar we need to use the navbar and target every anchor tag in the navbar. Let's see, when we say navbar, they always have a right in front of it. When we say text decoration, and it's going to be none. That will remove the underline we have right here, and the underline we have right here in the links. As you can see, this is beginning to look just like what we have right here in the demo. Next, we're going to style the links container after the logo text So to start links container, we have to just type out links container, and right in here we're going to have display flex to set the links side by side, it's like that. And next we're going to have align items, it's going to be center. We're also going to have gap 30px to set some space in between the links, and that is just what we want. The next we're going to style, let's see, we need a hover for the links, the aqua color text, sorry, the color of our links here is going to be aqua whenever we hover on the links. So to achieve that, all we have to do is target the links. We're going to target all of them at once. We're going to say links li comma a. Then we're going to, let's see, we're going to remove list style type first. The list style type is this key as seen right here. It can be a bullet, a disk, a number, or a Roman numeral. So what you have to do is set list style type to none, and we're going to set text decoration to none. Then after that, we're going to set color here to white, and next we're going to add our hover. So you can just, let's see, we're going to say links container a hover. So we're setting the hover to our anchor tag. All we have to do is add color, and we're going to copy this color right here. So whenever we hover on the links, this is going to become the color of our link, and that should do it. As you can see, this is beginning to look quite nice. Now let's go ahead and start the nav button container, which is the link, this other links right here. So all we have to do is get down here and type out the class nav btn container. So for this one, all we have to do is set the buttons to display flex. Let's see what they are. I think they are actually links, not buttons. Yes, they are links, not buttons. So all we have to do here is add align items center to bring them to the center of the container. And next we're going to set gap to 20px to put some space right in between them. As you can see, that is beginning to look much more better. Next we're going to style the I tags directly. So all we have to do is type out nav btn container a and I to get the I tags. So here what we need is font size to be 22px and color is going to be white. So let's see what that looks like. As you can see, it's now looking nice. So next we're going to add the hover effect that we have right here, this hover. So all we have to do is the same thing we have here. You can just copy and paste it, then change this, copy that and paste it right here. We're going to change the classes, and that should do it. Let's remove this a, we don't need it. This is all we need. As you can see, the hover effect now works. So what we're going to do next is style this drop down btn container. Let me show you guys what it is. As I said at the beginning, we're going to build this website using only HTML and CSS, but if you want it to be much more responsive, these links are going to disappear whenever we get down to this smaller screen. And when the links disappears, we're going to need to target them with JavaScript using this button right here. As you can see, that looks nice. If you want to learn only the HTML and CSS part of this project, no problem. But if you want to learn how to do this, you can stick with me to the end of the project, and you're going to learn how to add this effect. So all we have to do is continue for now. Let's go ahead and start the drop down btn next. I think I might have forgotten to create the button. Let's look for the button. I don't think it's right here, so let's search for it. Drop down, it's not there, which means I forgot to create it. All you have to do is get right here and create the button. So just create a button, and it's going to have a class. The class here is going to be drop down btn. Then right inside here we're going to have an I tag. It's going to have a class, and the class here is going to be ri menu line, and that should do it for the button. That is it right there. Let's style it. So the styles we need for the button are not quite much. All we have to do is, let's see, drop down btn. So what we need for the button is to set background to none to make the button transparent, and we're going to set border to none to remove the border from our button. Then next we're going to set font size to 30px to increase the icon size. As you can see, it looks quite bigger. Next we're going to set the color to white. We don't need the dark color, we need it to be white. Then we're going to add our hover effect. we need, it seems it already has a hover effect. Let's see, yes, we already set the hover effect right here. When we set the hover effect for the icons, this is right here, so we don't set it anymore. We're already done with the buttons, so all we have to do now is set display to none for the button. We don't need the button for now, so I will set it to display none to make it invisible. Let's go ahead and continue with the hero section. We're done with the navbar for now. So for the hero section, all we're going to do is type out .hero, and inside the hero section, the styles we're going to need, we need display, flex, and we also need align items center. Then after that, we're going to set gap to 30px to put some space in between the elements in our hero section. Then next, we're going to set margin top to 5 rem to push it down from the navbar. And next, we're going to style the hero header. Let's see, we're going to say hero, and we're going to have header. Take note, there is no hyphen in between them. It's two separate classes, hero and header. So right in here, we're going to have display, flex, and we're going to have flex direction, and it's going to be column. And right here, we're going to have gap, and the gap is going to be 30px. The next, we need to set the color to white. So we're setting the color of this text right here to white. This is beginning to look nice. So next, we're going to style the color text. If you remember, we created the class in the beginning of our project. So let's style the color text right now. All we have to do is repeat the same process we had for the logo text. Copy this and change the class, and that should do it. So all you have to do here is change this logo to colored, and that should do it. Let's see. That's it right there. As you can see, the color text is just like what we want. So what we're going to do next is start the hero head text, which is this text right here, to make it look bigger. So just type out hero head text, and right in here we're going to set the font size to 50px to make it larger. So font size here is going to be 50px, and right in here we're going to set the font weight to 550 to make the text look thicker. That looks quite nice, but first I think we have a little problem with the text. Okay guys, I think the problem is this font size right here for the colored text. It's smaller than the other text, so just remove this font size right here, and that should fix it. So next we're going to set the font weight for our head text to 550 to make it look thicker. Sorry, to make it look lighter actually. If you notice, it was thicker before because we are using H1, but if set is 550, that will make it look lighter. We might need to change it back later on, so just keep it right there. If we want the text to be thicker, we will remove our font weight, and if we want it to be lighter, we'll bring back the font weight. So next we're going to set text wrap to balance. So text wrap here is going to be balanced. So we're going to set the text wrap to balance to make the text responsive. And after that, we're going to start our hero description. The hero description is this text we have right here. So to start the hero description, all you have to do is type out the class hero description, and in here we're going to have our font size. The font size here is going to be 15px, and the font weight here is going to be 300. Then next we're going to set max width to 500px to make sure the text does not stretch out too much. The next we're going to style the, let's see, we're going to style the hero btn container, which holds the higher button and the previous works link. So all you have to do is get down here and type out hero btn container, and right in here we're going to set display to flex, and we need to set align items to center. The next one sets gap to 30px, and we also need margin top right here. Margin top here is going to be 0.5 rem. So actually 1 rem is 16px, so we're going to be using half of that, and this is just what we want for the buttons. So next we're going to style our higher btn. Just type out higher btn, and let's see, higher btn, and right in here we're going to set width to 150px, which is going to be 150px, and font weight here is going to be 600px. And after that, we need font family to be Poppins, and font size here is going to be 16px. And after that, this is going to be px, not ppx. After that, further is going to be none, and padding here is going to be 10px. Then after that, we need to set further to radius. No, not set further to radius. We're going to set further radius to 30px to make the button curvy. And next, we're going to set the color of the button text to white. And after that, we're going to use this background right here for the button's background. So just copy that background and paste it right here, and that should do it for the button's background. As you can see, it looks quite nice. I don't think we removed the button. Yes, sorry, not the button, the border. We need to remove the border. That does not look quite nice. Just type in none here, correct that mistake, and that should fix it. So next, we're going to style the portfolio link. Just type in dot portfolio link, and in here we're going to set font size so 16px, and display here is going to be flex. Then align items is going to be center, and that should fix it. If you notice, it was quite cluttered before. It now looks quite nice. So let's style the hero image container. It does not look nice just like what you have right here. It's supposed to be smaller. So just type in dot hero img container. Then in here in the hero image container, we're going to set the width to 100%, and the display here is going to be flex. Then after that, we're going to set align items to end to push the image to the right side of the image container. The next justify content is also going to be end. So next, we're going to style the image itself. So I'm going to set hero image, the class, and in here the max width is going to be 650px to make the image smaller. As you can see, that is just what we want. The next, we're going to set the object fits to cover to make the image responsive and make sure it doesn't fold. This is just what we want. As you can see, this is beginning to look quite nice, but we need a display flex in between these two buttons. So let's find the button right here. This is the problem. In hero btn container, we set hero btn 0 instead of hero btn container. That should fix it, as you can see. So next, let's go ahead and continue with the stats container that we have right down here. So all we have to do is type out .stats container, and in here we're going to have display flex. We're going to have flex direction. It's going to be column. Then down here we're going to have align items, and it's going to be center. The next we need gap. The gap here is going to be 1px, and margin here is going to be 0. That should make it look nice, but it seems there is a little problem. They are supposed to be side by side. Let's search for the problem. You can just copy this and search for it in HTML to make sure the class exists. As you can see, it exists. So what is the problem? Let's see. I think I found the problem. The problem is right here. I set flex directions column. It's not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be inside the span. So let's create the span. So we're going to say start container, and we're going to target the span that's inside it. This is where we're supposed to have our flex direction. So right here, we can also have the same styles we have right here. Just copy the display flex and align items, paste them in, and that should work. Next, we're going to add a gap right here. Let's see, we need a gap of 1px, and the gap here is going to be 20px to put some space in between the stats, and that should be enough. This is where we need the margin 0. We don't need the margin 0 in the stats container. We need it right here in the span. Let's see what we have right here. It doesn't look quite like what we have yet because we haven't increased the text size. So let's go ahead and continue. What we need right here is type out the stats container. We're going to target the span inside the stats container and the h1 inside the span. So what we are going to do is set font size to 40px and set height to 50px, and that should do it. As you can see, it now looks quite nice, but it seems to have some kind of margin top in the stats container. The margin top here is going to be 3 rem. Let's see, it's now looking like just what we want right here, but we still need to reduce the text size for the descriptions. So we're just going to target the p tag that is right inside the span. All you have to do is copy this, paste it down here, and the h1 is going to become p for the paragraph tag. So set the font size to 13px and set the font weight. We don't need this height. What we need right here is font weight. The font weight here is going to be 300, and that should do it. As you can see, it's now looking like just what we have right here. They now look identical, and this is now looking quite nice. So the only difference between our websites, this one and what you have right here, is that our particular website is not yet responsive. If you notice, this one is quite responsive. As you can see, it looks quite nice even on this smaller screen. So let's go ahead and achieve that. All we have to do, let's see, all we have to do is use our media queries. So we just need a few media queries. The first media query here is going to be, let's set max width, and max width here is going to be 1300px. I don't think this is right. It seems there's a problem. Yes, I typed in media instead of media, and that should fix it. Change that to an M. And in here, we're going to first start our container in the media query. So the padding here is going to become, if you're wondering what this means, is that container, let's say container padding is 20px and 60px. If you notice up here, our container padding is, let's say, 20px and 130px. This means that whenever we get to this smaller screen, if you notice, our container padding is going to become 60px. If you notice the padding reduced, that is just what we want. So let's continue. The next style we're going to have right in here, the next style is going to be hero. So I'm going to style the hero next. We just need to set flex direction, so column on this smaller screen. As you can see, it's beginning to look nice. This is just what we have right here. It is beginning to look nice. So next, we're going to set the hero image container. Let's set hero image container. This is it. We're going to set align items to center and justify contents to center to bring the image to the center of our screen, just like this. That is beginning to look nice. Next, we're going to style the next media query. Let's create it. Media, and the max width here is going to be 1000px. And here, the padding of the container, you can just repeat this style once more. The padding of the container is going to become 20px for top and bottom, and 50px for left and right. And the next, we're going to style the drop down btn. Let's see, drop down btn. The one we, let's see, this is 1000px. Let's find it. This should be 1000px right here. So let's bring back our drop down btn. We're going to set the display to block. If you remember, the display was none before, which made it invisible. Now display block is going to make it visible once more. That does not work for some reason. Let's see what the problem is. Dot drop down btn. Okay, this is the problem. I set max width to 100px instead of 1000px. Set it back to 1000px, and that should fix it. As you can see, our button has appeared. So next, we're going to style the links container. Just type out that links container right here, links container, and right in here we're going to set position, so absolute. And next, we're going to set the background. Let's say background here for the links container is going to become hash 181818, which is a dark color. This is our links container right here. We're trying to make it look just like what we have right here. So let's continue. This is part of what I said at the beginning of our project. If you want to follow along for the HTML and CSS, we're almost done with HTML and CSS, and what we are starting now is making our website responsive and adding these JavaScripts to make the links container into a sidebar. So let's go ahead and continue. Now we're going to set the top to minus 200 VH to drag it up to the screen and make it invisible. That is just what we want. Then next, we're going to set the width to 100%, and left, let's set the max width first. max width is going to be 240 px. Then next we're going to set the left to 0 to make it stick to the left side of our website. Then margin is going to be auto, and let's see, padding here is going to be 30 px. The height is going to be 100 ph to make sure it stretches to the full width, to the full height of the website. So next we're going to set the index. The index here is going to become, let's see, it's going to become 0. The index is going to be 0. Actually it's supposed to be 100, so it can overlay every element we have on the website. So what we're going to do next is set flex direction to column. Flex, this is going to be flex direction and it's going to be column. And next we're going to set align items and it's going to be start. Then next we're going to set transition. Let's see, transition here is going to be 0.3 seconds, is in out. And next we're going to start the show links. Show links is the class that toggles our link. If you notice, I use top minus 200 VH to drag this links content to the top of the website. Whenever we click on this button, we're going to toggle this show links class. Let's type it out. Show links top is going to be 0. This means that whenever we click on the button, the top of the positioning of our links content is going to become top 0, which means it will appear right back, just like this. So let's continue. What we're going to do next is style the links container. So we're going to say that links container li and a. So in this smaller screen, we want the font size to be 17 px, and the hero here, we're going to style the hero class next. Let's type in dot hero, and for the dot hero we need margin top to be 1 rem and no longer 5 rem. We're going to drag it up a little bit, and hero head text here, the font size is going to be 30 px, so it doesn't look so large for the, as you can see, the font size was so big before. Now if we use 30 px, it doesn't look so large anymore. So what I'm going to do next is, let's see what we have right here. It actually looks just like what we have here, so that is okay. I'm going to start the hero description next. So let's type in dot hero description, and we're going to set font size to 14 px, and margin top here is going to be 1 rem. Then next we're going to start the hero image dot hero image, and the width here is going to become 100%. This is for the image. It's going to become responsive. Let me show you what I mean. If we continue using 650 px, the image will not be responsive. It will actually make the website unresponsive, just like this. But if you set the width of the image to 100%, as you can see, it's going to become responsive. So let's go ahead and continue. So what I'm going to do next is our second to last media query. So it's going to be, let's type out at media, and the max width here is going to be, let's say, 768 px, and right in here we're going to set container. We need dot container, and the padding here is going to be 20 px and 20 px. That is for left, right, top, and bottom. So next, let's see, we're going to start the starts container. We're going to say starts container, and the flex wrap here is going to be, we need flex wrap. It's going to be wrapped to make the elements right in here responsive. Let me show you what I mean. When I collapse this below, let's see, as you can see, it's responsive whenever we maximize. So let's go ahead and continue. So what we have next in here is going to be justify content, and it's going to be center, and gap here is going to be, let's say, 40 px. The next one is style the nav btn container. This containers right here. So let's say that nav btn container A, we're styling the links, so we want them to be invisible in this smaller screen. All we have to do is set display to none, and we should be able to achieve that look. So what we have next is our last media query. So we're going to say at media, and we just have one style right in here. I'm going to say max width, and the max width here is going to be 368px. Then in here we're just going to style only one thing, and it's going to be hero btn container. We need flex direction, column, and align items. Start. What we are styling is these two buttons right here. I think there might be a problem. If you notice, we have too much space here. We need to reduce that space. Let's find what the problem is. That is supposed to be for left and right. Let's see what we have right here. This is what it's supposed to look like. It doesn't look quite nice. Alright, all we have to do is set padding to 10px for left and for top and bottom, and 10px for left and right. That should fix it. If you can see, this is now just what we want. So achieve this sidebar, I have to use a little bit of JavaScript. Don't worry, it's not so difficult. All we have to do is head over to our app.js and add a little bit of JavaScript. So firstly, we're going to define the button using const. I'm going to say const drop down. I'm going to say drop down btn, and next we're going to target the class of our drop down button. So let's say document.query selector. This is how we get a class from HTML. I'm going to document the query selector, and I'm going to say dot drop down btn. This is the class of our button. And next we're going to target the links container. So we're just going to say const links container, and right in here we're going to have our document dot query selector, and right in here we're going to have the class for our links container. Let's say links container. Then let's add an event listener to our button. It's going to be a click event. So let's say dot drop down btn dot add event listener, and the event here is going to be click, and we're going to use our arrow function right here. So this means that whenever we click on the button, an event is going to take place, and this is the event right in here. When we say links container, what we need here is links container dot class list dot toggle, and we're going to set the class to show links. Then we're going to say if I'm going to use the conditional statement right here to change our icon. If you notice, the icon changes whenever we click and the sidebar opens. If you notice, it changes to a closed icon, and an open icon once we close the sidebar. So to achieve that, you just need to say if links container dot class list dot contains show. We need a string right here, contains show links. Then we're going to say drop down btn dot inner html. So we're changing the value of our drop down button depending on the state of our sidebar. So we're going to say, let's see, the inner html of our button is going to be, we're going to open a tag. It's going to be an I tag, and we're going to add a class. So the class we need here is going to be ri dash close, and I'm going to say line. So now let's close the tag. I'm going to close it just like a normal tag in HTML. This is just what we want. So let's see if that works. It does not work. Let's complete the functional statement first before we debug the error. So just copy this and add else. Else means that another condition is going to take place if linked container does not contain the class show links. So we're going to say drop down btn inner html, and this time around the inner html is going to be ri dash menu line. So just change close to menu, and that should do it. Let's see what the problem is. If it works, then there is no problem, but I don't think it works. So let's find out what the problem is. Let's make sure our class is correct. That's links container, and we have show links down there. I think I found the problem. We have class list comma right here instead of class list dot toggle. That should fix it. As you can see, this is perfect. This is just what we want. And this brings us to the end of our project. If you really enjoyed this project, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next project. Goodbye.